Hey, babes. Welcome back to Morley Gray Babes. I'm Jen.
And I'm Amber, your spice obsessed, morally gray tour guide through all things book boyfriends, dragons, possessive, alpha holes, like all the delicious chaos.
I love it. Today, I'm very excited because we are diving into the wild, whimsical, and sometimes totally unhinged world of fantasy romance. If you've ever wanted to fall in love with a fae prince, make out with your mortal enemy in the middle of a battlefield, or summon a demon for, vibes, then this one is going to be for you. Welcome to Morally Gray Babes. We're your hosts, Jen and Amber, two unapologetic book addicts, diving deep into the steamiest dreams, hottest book boyfriends, and those spicy moments that make you blush.
Amber here, and we're not just here to talk plot twists and character arcs. We're breaking down everything from our favorite quotes to the spice levels that really bring the heat.
Expect a lot of laughs, a little cussing, and some seriously hot takes. Whether we're gushing over fictional men or dishing out the truth on what books deserve the hype, nothing is off limits.
So buckle up, Buttercup, and get ready for real, raw, and totally unfiltered book talk. Because we're the book besties you didn't know you needed. This is just like a little segue, Jen. But I saw a reel the other day, and it was about this lady, and she was talking about fantasy books. And she's like, whenever the author says, like, she has flowing red hair, she has raven hair, and she's like, no, they just all look like me. You don't even have to describe the female main character. I'm inserting myself into you. And I was like,
That's so good.
and I was like, do people do that? Because me, I don't insert myself into the books, but I wonder if you do.
I do. Well, it depends on the book, right? It depends on the story if I insert myself in there. But I will say that many a book that I have read with you, I'm like, oh my God, this is Amber. So like in those moments, you're inserted into my books.
I never see myself as like the female main character in these books. And I was like, am I reading wrong? Like, and maybe we should do a podcast like that. Like when we read, do we imagine it? Can we see in color? Do we picture ourselves? Is it in black and white? Like,
That was a great idea.
how do we see like the male main characters? Because I have like two people. I don't care how they describe them. They're these two people. Like if he's brown headed, it's this. If he's a blonde, it's this one. And the occasional, if he's this redhead one, he's always the doctor on Grey's Anatomy, right? Like that's who I see these images. I don't even know his name as an actor, but that's who I envision. So I feel like we need to talk more about that later. But today, you're right. This is like fantasy romance or romantasy and why we're so obsessed. So romantasy, I feel like if you say fantasy romance, it's fantasy in a romance book. And if you say romantasy, it's a little bit of romance in a fantasy book.
Say that again.
So whichever one is the second word, it's more, right? So I guess in my head,
I never thought of that.
if we think about fantasy romance, it's a romance book that has fantasy elements. But if we have a romance fantasy, it's a fantasy book with romance.
I think the total opposite.
Well, maybe we should ask people. I didn't search this, but that's how I see it. So anyway, today we're talking about fantasy with romance.
Dark fantasy romance.
Oh, dark fantasy is even.
Yeah, let's just talk about what we're gonna.
Yeah. So basically, it's a love story that's set completely in this made-up world. You think kingdoms, creatures, monsters, fae, crowns, curses, all the things, magical elements in there. So
anything that like can't happen in the real world would be in a fantasy book. I like to think about.
yes.
And while the magic systems and world buildings are really the vibes, love stories are kind of what hook us kind of into the story. Because when everything else is chaos, the connection between two or three or more characters is what makes you scream into a pillow at 2 a.m.
Yes, fantasy romance tend to give us that slow burn, right? High stakes, emotionally devastating, I will burn this world down for you type of passion. And I don't know about you, but that's kind of like my love language.
Ditto,
Yeah.
like big ditto. So let's go ahead and start off so that everyone kind of knows what we're talking about. We're going to talk about tropes because fantasy romance does not come to play. Here are the ones that live sort of rent free in our mind. So first we have mates. That's the magical, soul deep, your mine connection.
I think like when I think mates, yes, I love mates. I love fated mates. But whenever it's like written in the stars for them to be together, I love it whenever there's sense involved. I love it whenever like something magical happens that you know it's your person. So like we already talked about a megaverse. We already did a podcast on that. And we know that scent matches. Yes, we've got it. Love it. But there's something like if it's a fated mate and they make that connection, like when the male main character growls like mine, like because he like instantly knows. But like whenever there's other magical elements to it, like once they make contact somehow, touch, eyes, doing the deed, and like there's like a magical brand on each other. I think that
Even
right.
better.
So when you say mates, there's like so many other components, just not like, oh, that's my mate. There's in the world of like fantasy, I think I love it when authors take their own like unique spin on it. Like,
Like creative license to just change it up and do whatever they
and
feel.
that's what I love about it because like, oh my God, he knew he was mate. And then all of a sudden they kissed or they touched and like they each had that brand that was like wrapped around their necks that signified they were mates or something. And it's just like, okay, I don't want a band around my neck. But at the same time, I'm how amazing to know, like, I don't know that
Yeah, I actually really enjoy the books where they're fated mates, but they're resisting.
of
Of
course you do. Of course you do.
course I do. There's Monster Boyfriend, Morley Grave Warlord, Cursed Immortals, and we want them big, dangerous, and secretly soft to our main female character. That's what
Yeah.
I like.
The other things I
Yeah.
love are like the prophecies, the chosen one energy.
Yes.
It gives us that she doesn't know how powerful she is until he sees it in her. I like it whenever like the male main character can see her worth and see her strength and she doesn't believe it yet, or not that she's weak or anything, but she has like no clue how powerful she is. Like eat that I eat that shit up. Like, yep.
Yummy. Yummy. There's also oftentimes like found family because nothing hits like broken characters who are choosing each other, whether it's, a pack or a village or a kingdom or whatever.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was what found family meant. And for the I know. I know
Oh,
what Omegaverse means, but found family sounds so easy. I was always under impression it was like you found your family, like your blood family, like later, or like your family that you grew up with, like even if it was broken, you got back together, like you reconnected. And I never wanted that. I never wanted to read those kind of books. And then a book we read, I really loved. And then I read like the tropes. I was like, found family. What does that mean? And then you were like, I love found family books. I'm like, huh?
yeah.
I have to do my own research. So
I love it.
Jen's big on this one. I don't know if I like fake marriages, but fake marriages or fake engagements or anything like that to save kingdoms or to save the business or save the family, whatever, it's to save your species. I don't know if I like fake relationships. I definitely don't like them as much as Jen does. But I love when people or these characters accidentally fall in love. I especially like it if they hate each other first.
Yes. I love in particular, so we
Enemies
just
to
read
lovers.
one.
Enemies to lovers, forced proximity, one bed,
Oh,
magical like situation happening. Like that's like chef's kiss.
because it's that built up tension that I love so much. So, yeah, fake marriages, fake relationships. I love them because usually people are doing it to get to some place, not because they like or maybe even they're enemies of the person. And then they like love each other. I think it's great. All right, let's bring in the books that we've actually covered on the podcast so that you know we're not just fangirling for fun. This is research, okay?
The one that we covered was Blood and Thorns by Eve Newton, the first book in the Shadows Descent trilogy. We're talking Fated Mates, Morally Gray Blackman. I'm like, I feel like
Morally Blackman,
Morley
I'm
Blackman.
thinking.
Violet's transformation from timid, humid to this like badass vampire. You can also hear our favorite quotes, spice ratings, wild theories about what's next in this slow burn paranormal romance.
Plus, we dish on the plot holes, cliffhangers, wardrobe woes that left us with questions. We always have questions. I will say that. Like, why did this happen? And if you're into dark academia vibes and reverse harems, you definitely don't want to miss that.
I feel like that's like my big, like one of the tropes I love.
Uh, See? Dark academia
Dark.
and reverse harem Amber. I mean, tell me, I love it too.
Oh my
But I mean,
gosh.
I think those are her like big. We need to maybe do a podcast of specifically like what
Tropes that
ours
we
are.
love. Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that leads us perfectly into Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss. This is the Shiftiverse series. It's 6 books. This is like my Roman Empire. And I don't know what that says about me.
It's her only book, like 5-star. FYI.
So I liked the first 3 books in the series. It follows one female main character. And then the last 3 books, it follows another main character who's the first person's like best friend. And it is like one wild ride. And the last 3 books are my favorites. So good. I love the character. I love the female main character. I love her badassery. We were just about her
Oh,
beforehand. It is fantasy. It's a reverse harem. It's 2 reverse harems. It's 2 white chooses. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
It's got shifters. It's got vampires. It's got mafia. It's got dark academia. It's got a war college. It's got bullying, which I know some people don't like. It's got secrets, powers. It's like 2 girls trying not to lose their mind while surviving a literal supernatural war. Like,
We haven't published yet that episode, but just know that that's coming because I'm finishing the last book. It's me. It's all on me. But we had to mention it in this one because this is one of Amber's favorite series, I would say.
yes,
And she's giving a 5-star to one of these books. So
books,
maybe
books
2 of
4
these
and
books.
5, 4 and
Yes.
5 are 5 stars for me.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember, I'm just going to say this. So check your triggers, right? Check your ones.
Yes.
So I remember Jen reading it and I was like, okay, tell me when you get to this book. Tell me. And then she got to it. And then she was like, I have to put it down. There's too much torture.
I mean, okay, so listen,
And I was
folks.
like, what?
You
It's so
you
good.
might look at Amber and think she's, the sweetest person, and she is
Thank you.
person in the world, homeschooling, like doing great for her family, all the things. But this, I legit had to put it down. This one girl was being tortured by 4 guys.
She wasn't being tortured per se by them. She was just getting, she was
Torture.
she was in a like kind of a war trials, right? There it's like this trials and her team, and she kept getting selected. And in the trials, she was getting tortured, but everybody was getting tortured. It wasn't just her, it's just she kept getting picked every single time and not her teammates.
Uh-huh.
And she's like super self-sacrificing. She's very selfless.
This is the character for the last 3 books.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, that's her favorite character, Erin, Aran.
Yes, she's just like, she's like the way she like is snarky and her internal dialogue. I totally get it, and I loved it. And how
I mean, Amber, I pictured you reading those 3 books. So I'm just gonna throw it out
Right.
there.
People just need to I feel like we don't need to do a podcast on
No, we have to do a podcast
it.
on it.
I don't it's so yes, I love it. It's my favorite. So Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Moss. Yes. Classic books.
It's like a dark shot of espresso, dark, fast, a little
Little
dangerous,
dangerous.
but steamy.
Very steamy.
It's good. It's real good.
Okay, so let's talk about why fantasy romance just kind of like hits hard. So fantasy romance isn't just spicy. It's like, I don't know, it's otherworldly spicy. I'll say it that way. Because these books give you more than heat. They like, they give you lore, they give you
Depth.
legend, they give you longing, but anything is possible in this world building, right? And I think that's why it makes it a little bit more spicy. Like it could be spicy. There could be, yes, multiple players involved. These players could have like different appendages than you're used to, or they can have different ways to seduce you, like with shadows or with
Different
fire.
ways to have sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thanks. I was trying to be
Mhm.
peachy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it.
But
With an orc or a demon or
yeah, and
whatever.
then, like, you could be in
Dragon.
the dream world or you can be in the shadow world, and it's like it's not something that humanly possible in or exists. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they're like way more creative.
Yeah.
We're talking centuries of angst, slow burn bonds that start in blood and end in healing and magic worlds that let you fully escape your real life, which is something that I really love. And we definitely need sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like nothing beats it whenever the male main character just like says mine, right?
Mine.
While
Yeah.
literally going to war for you, like in spandex. And like, like I think it's spandex. Like, I don't know, what's that material that like the superheroes wear?
Wicking, the wicking material
Yeah.
for when you work out.
Like whenever you think of
Oh,
like Ant-Man or like Superman or what's that like
oh yeah, those are spandex.
or like what's his name? Daredevil? No, that's not right.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Daredevil, that's right.
but it's like the
It's the
yeah.
stretchy,
But
tight
but
material.
it's
That's
like when I think about some of the male main characters and they're like all in this armor, I think about like who does Ryan Reynolds play? What's his character?
oh, Deadpool.
Deadpool. Like I think about that, but like in black and without the mask.
Yes.
Like that's like the wardrobe I see, right? Like, whoop.
So you are imagining
I'm
things.
but I don't imagine myself as like the person that it's happening to, because I'm like, it's oh god, we were reading one that was really gruesome, and I was like, and you had no complaints about that one, and I was like, I
No,
can't see myself doing that. Like, oh my god, ugh, gross, like cringeworthy. So I don't see myself as a female main characters in books, but maybe people do. Maybe you do. I don't know.
when I'm reading a book, I don't think of me in the book, but I do think of what that person looks like. And it's somebody that I have either seen on TV or like Amber or like whatever, because they have certain ways of being that I'm like, oh, that reminds me of XYZ. So that's the face that I picture when I'm reading it. That's kind of what I
Ever you're reading about a snarky badass, you think about me.
kind of
Yeah.
snarky, badass, knowledgeable,
Mhm.
spunky. Like, yes, yes. And Erin is wild. I think she's almost like your alter ego.
She is. I feel like she would be. Maybe I should get like an Aaron tattoo or something. Like
That would be
my
fun.
husband would not approve. Not that he so approve, but he'd like Amber, seriously, no.
So, to sum it up, you guys, fantasy romance is for the babes who want magic and mayhem, who want monsters and makeouts, and who aren't afraid of a little pain before the happily ever after.
Because let's be honest, once you fall for a brooding, battle scarred combat trainer, right, who shifts and calls you my queen, there's really no going back.
So that is your fantasy romance 101, babes. And if you loved hanging out with us today, don't forget to check the show notes for all the juicy details and the links. And if this prompts you to go read a fantasy book that you haven't read before, please let us know.
Yes, and there's tons out there. I mean, I started my fantasy journey not like most people. I feel like I started it, because you take a hiatus. You read Twilight, you read Hunger Games, you read Divergent, and you take like a hiatus. For me, it was vet school. And then I came back and I read Lola Glass's Dragon Mate.
Lola Glass. That is an author you want to look up
She
if you want to try fantasy.
Yes, and she has a new series that came out today about
That's a
mermaids.
problem for our TBR.
I know.
That's a
Keep
real big
writing.
problem. We have to talk about our TBR too, so that you guys maybe can read along with us
That'd
at
be
one
fun.
point.
So I started with her, but there's like, the Court of Thorns and Roses. There's a Court of Dreams. There's the Plated Prisoner series. There's Throne of Glass, which I think is the Fourth Wing, which some people like. But there's so many good like fantasy series. If you're into that, there's a lot of good standalones as well. And I think a lot of them, like some of the ones I said, people already know, right? And they're well known, but there's so many like small indie book authors that I don't think get enough credit because I don't think like Lola Glass gets enough credit for her world building.
100%.
She does really good.
She does really good. Yeah, there's authors that do big, huge storytelling, and then there's authors that do, like, she is a good mix of world building as well as that romance, I think.
I think, and there's another one like C.N. Crawford. Maybe she's bigger than I think. She has a series that's called The Demon Queen Trials. So one, it's got demons. Hello. Two, she's a queen. And there's trials. I mean, like, come on.
Trials are your
Oh my God.
thing.
I love trials. I love it whenever it's the female underdog.
Give me a Hunger Game, and Amber is like on it like white or rice with fantasy.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's actually really good. But anyway, you can discover like all different kind of books. You can even discover your next book boyfriend. We have an epic quiz, which is linked in our show notes. And of course, you can always follow us for more spicy reads, hot takes, and unfiltered fun. Until next time, stay morally gray, babes.
Bye.